Hi everyone, I am Kavindu. So my project was to developing an LQR controller for distillation column. So I found this diagram and system from a book, and I think according to that book there are two inputs. First one is reflux flow and the second one is reboiler steam flow. I guess the reboiler steam flow can be controlled using this valve, and reflux flow can be controlled using these two valves. And there are two outputs. First one is the mole fraction of ethanol in the top product, and second one is the composition of the bottom product. And this is the system that I used. So this is a MIMO system, and so this is the transfer function that has been given in the book. And the initial approach that the book had been taken was to omit these cross terms and only consider these terms and consider that U1, so Y1 would be controlled only using U1, and U2 is only controlled using U2. So I tried doing that. I tried to create a PID controller using these transfer functions, and this is the plant response, and this is the PID response that I got for Y1 and Y2. And in this project what I tried to do was to develop an LQR controller for the system considering those cross terms as well. So as the first steps, I had to calculate the state space system of this Laplace domain system. So once I get the limit of the S when S goes to infinity, I get D as 2 by 2 zero matrix, and then thereafter, so system can be written in this form, and my common denominator would be something like this. And so these are the values that I got for my common denominator. Then I divided my common denominator by the coefficient of the s to the power 5 value, and then I end up with a polynomial like this for ds, and my alpha values are something like this, and I have 5 alpha values in this case. And my transfer function can be written in this format, and so my A11 would be something like this, and my A12 would be something like this, A21, A22, and as previously mentioned, ds. And so those values can be categorized according to their coefficients. So there would, since my ds was in the since my A matrices are in the power of S4, then there would be 5 N matrices, and once the values are categorized according to their coefficient, so my N1 would be something like this, my N2 would be something like this, and my N3 would be something like this, N4 and N5. so these are my N matrices. And so according to that equation, since there were 5 alpha values, then my A matrix should be in the form of this, and so my A matrix would be a 10 by 10 matrix in the form of this, and my B matrix would be 10 by 2 matrix, and my C matrix would be 2 by 10 matrix, and my D would be 2 by 2. So, and this is the actual matrix that I get for the state space of this system. And yeah, this is the actual state space that I get for the system. And once I analyze the system, so there are 8 eigenvalues which are on the left half plane, and there are 2 eigenvalues which are on the right half plane, and the rank of the controllability matrix and the observability matrix are 10. That means those matrices are full rank, and that means the system is fully controllable and observable. So I initially tried using identity as my Q matrix and R matrix, and then analyze the system. Then the eigenvalues that I get is something like this, and the K matrix that I get is something like this. So thereafter what I did was to tune the Q matrix, and once I tuned the Q matrix for a certain initial condition, this is the output response that I get for the system. So yeah, so this is the output that I get once I tune my Q matrix, and then I try to analyze my input. So my U1 is in the range of 40s, and my U2 is in the range of -5. Yeah, so I tried to tune my R matrix to minimize these input values. So the minimum that I could got for U1 was around -20, and the minimum that I could go for my U2 was around -2. So this is my input variation for that certain initial condition once I tune my R matrix. So these are the state responses. So there are 10 states, but from 3 to 10, so those states are like the derivative of state 1 and state 2, and they are really small. So in that case I only plotted my first 2 states for the convenience. So these are the state response for my states for a certain initial condition. So this is something like that. And then I tried to use error states and integrators to drive the output to a certain value. So I tried to drive y1 to 2 and y2 to 1, and so these are the this is the response that I got once I do that. So I guess it reaches to those values with the time. And so basically this is what I did for my project. Thank you very much for listening.